What's up YouTube, it's your boy 410 Autotech. I'm going to do a quick video on preventive maintenance and changing oil on a 2015 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Going to go over some features, just check all your fluids, check all your tire pressures, check all your filters that you have, to try to maintain the car as long as you can and to maximize your fuel economy, because no one likes a car that just gets terrible gas mileage. Sometimes you can't help it. You got a bigger truck, you're not gonna get the best gas mileage, but some small SUVs and a lot of these newer cars are getting extremely good at gas mileage. So prices are going up, and of course it's going to hurt your wallet. So do everything you can to try to maintain factory spec MPGs. So let's shoot the video and tell me what you think. Alright, so we popped the hood. What I always do is check the fluid level before I start, so I know if it's low on fluid already, we have an issue if we are maintaining our oil changes in between every oil change. Make sure we're not consuming oil or burning oil. And what you can see, it's pretty good. So next up is always take the oil filter cap, take it off, put it right here. So if you ever shut the hood without putting oil in it, at least you know that'll stop it. Like, oh well, I didn't fill up the oil possibly, or something like that, and it just helps you double check to make sure you don't start the car with no oil in it. Another key is to check for dirty air filters, and dirty air filter can cause restriction, and you can lose some MPGs out of it, so you always want to check. So this one is dirty. We're going to change it, and I'll show you a new one. Here is two of them. Pretty much night and day difference, so it was long overdue. So hopefully we'll get some MPGs a little bit back. It's kind of hard to notice it sometimes, but hopefully we'll notice it. Next step is what I usually do is if you have access, try to always touch your battery every time you get your oil change, or wherever you take it. Just tell them to double check it for you, so you're not stranded the next day, or if you're going out of town. So red with red, black with black. So right now it's at 12.45 volts. I'm going to hit enter. It's in the vehicle. It's a regular style battery. Full cranking amps. Right there. 530. So we'll go. 530. Testing. Here we go. It's printed, and you can keep it for your records. So I'll recharge it, and it should be good from there. Another step, I'll check the radiator fluid, which is good. Reservoir is a little low, so I'll top that off. And then of course wiper fluid is always low. So next step would be pretty much set the lift, or if you're at home, just set it on jack stands or a jack or whatever you have to do. I've already done mine, so we'll move it up and put it up in the air and check underneath. Alright, next step, locate your drain plug. This is takes a 17mm. I'm using my snap-on wrench, crack it loose. Let it drain. My wrench is oiled now, so I'm just gonna let it sit there, and I'll wipe it off. Let it sit there and drain all the way out. Oil filter pliers. Locate your oil filter. I usually just spin it, let it drop. It's a little different for you if you're at home. What I usually do is just take some oil, and you're gonna put a little bit around my seal, just a little bit, and I've already added a little bit of oil in here, so when you start it up, it's not dry. Locate that. That's back in nice and tight. Drain plug back in. Get your wrench. Just tighten it a little bit, not too hard. You want it tight, but not super hard, because then you'll start stripping out the threads. Wipe her down. There you have it. That's underneath on draining the oil, and you gotta fill it back up. But we're gonna check tire pressures. Make sure you get good. You're getting ready for winter time. Make sure your tires are set good for you. All right, so got a gauge. Mine's a little digital. Yours might not be, but it takes about 35. It's a little higher, but take them out. I'm gonna do with all four, so I'm not gonna show you all four, but always check all four, and especially since it's winter time, the air in the tire is thinner, so that's why in the winter time your tire is slightly lower than it is in the summertime, because in the heat molecules expand, and you have, if you're at 35, just say you'll be at 36, and then in the winter time it can drop down to 30 sometimes, depending on how cold it is. So I checked all the rest of the tires are all at 35, so indicating that there's no leaks. So I didn't put air in it in the past since the last time we got an oil change. So we're good. So I checked, make sure there's no nails. We're good, because it sucks to be stranded on the side of the road with a nail in it. You always want to make sure that your tires are evenly wearing. You can see edge is starting to wear out a little bit, so I'm going to have to do it in alignment. While you have it up in the air, you want to check the suspension parts. Get your funnel. Make sure you have the right amount of oil, which one this takes about 5 quarts. 0.20. So we know that we put oil in it, so you're going to put your cap back on. Wipe all the excess oil off. I always check the dipstick before I start it up, so you know it's not, if you have a leak on the bottom, it's going to show on your dipstick. Clear, so it's kind of hard to see. It's filled to the top, so we're good. We're going to start it up, and then I'll always double check, just out of habit. So start it up, let me shut it off, and then double check. Alright, let me double check. As you can see, filled right there. So we're good. There you have it, we're done under the hood, we're done underneath the car. You also got to check your brakes, just the suspension, anything else out of the ordinary. Check the belts, everything was good. Didn't want to bore you with the details of just viewing that, but I can show you how to mic rotors and check the brake depth with a brake gauge. But after this, I'm going to install a fuel additive to help increase. I usually do it maybe every oil change, and sometimes if we're going to go on a long road trip, I'll dump some of it in there into the gas tank, help clean the valves, clean the injectors, and it'll help you maintain or achieve a little bit greater MPGs, especially if you're in an older car. So we're done under the hood. Make sure it's closed. Got an engine job over here tearing apart, but let's go inside. Reset the oil light, and this info button, just lightly press on it, and it'll blink. And then you click the info button, and it'll clear. There you go, reset. I don't ever let a vehicle go to 11,000 miles. I got to figure out how to change this setting so we can change it quicker than that. As you can see, I put a sticker in it, so next time I'll change the oil. It's about 46,000 miles or 3 months, whatever comes closer. Or the date I messed up. So, well, there you have it. Quick little maintenance, preventive maintenance. You always want to, double check oil before you change the oil. Make sure that it's not low, and if it's low, then you either have a leak or you have an oil consumption issue. So remember, proper oil helps with MPGs. Check your air filter, that helps with MPGs. Check all your fluids. I had already done an induction service, so it's kind of hard to show you on a car I had just recently done. But pretty much what an induction service is, you clean the throttle body, and then you add, it's almost like seafoam, what we use, and you go run it through the throttle body, and it gets into the intake and goes down into the injector rails and shoots through the injector rail out of the injectors, cleans them up, cleans the valves, cleans internal a little bit, and then that was the last time I changed the oil, so I always do that and then change the oil, because some of that residual oil that you're spraying into it goes into the oil pan, and you always want to remove that once you're done. But if you do it every 15,000 miles, 20,000 miles, you'll be good. Help clean those valves, clean those injectors, keep them running top performance, because you got bad injectors, you got bad fuel flow, and you're gonna decrease your gas mileage. So you always want to have as good fuel mileage as what you had from the factory. Kind of hard to achieve more without maybe like a tune, but that's for a different discussion. So just check all your fluids, check air filter, and every once in a while, if you want to do a fuel additive, depending on what kind of fuel you're running through the system, which is always a good plus. Just cleaning those fuel rails, making sure that it doesn't get blocked up from just contamination, little pieces of dirt through the fuel, depending on where you go. So there's a good video. Tell me what you thought about it. Drop a like, comment. If you haven't already subscribe. Just let me know what other videos you'd like to see. I love some feedback, positive, negative. Well, this is 410 Auto Tech out.